What is going on, everyone? It is Sunday. It's later in the evening. I've got Nate Hale on with me. We're just checking in on you guys today. It's warmer. I don't know who's listening. Nate, how are you?
I'm doing well. Doing well.
Yeah.
Finished dinner not too long ago. Been a little busier day than normal Sunday.
Sure. Yeah. Steak and wine night.
Yep, steak and wine, typical our Sunday tradition.
Talk to me about that tradition. What's going on with that?
Well, I mean, so
How
it's
long have you
actually
been doing
something that I think we started it in the tail end of 2019. Never really thought of it much of a thing, and then really when 2020 was going on, it's like, you know what, we've been doing this. We never really called it anything when we started doing it. We were just, it was just that one day a week that we would have steak for dinner
and wine.
And wine. And so eventually it was like, we just ended up calling it Steak and Wine Sunday. It just became a tradition.
It's not just a clever name then. I mean, you actually are doing steak and wine. I mean, I feel like it was.
Yes.
I feel like it kind of named itself.
Yeah. Yeah. Not that creative.
Right. Like Whiskey Wednesday, we just drank whiskey and it happened to be Wednesday, and then there you go.
Yeah, exactly. Same thing.
Yeah. How was your week? I mean, I feel like the weather's getting nicer here in Columbus, Ohio, and opportunity to smoke cigars, drink some whiskey. I brought up my patio furniture, so now I got a full room in the back.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that. How about you?
Well, I mean, morning walks were still kind of chilly. Even a couple of the evenings that I took my walk in the evening, I was still wearing Carhartt head to toe with layers on underneath.
Yeah.
So, be nice when the day comes and wear less layers or maybe not as heavy layers. But no, actually today when we got home running around a little after 3:00 and just not a cloud in the sky, bright, sunny. Even though it's still in the low 40s, that sunlight just felt good, and actually sat on the back of literally sat on the back step of the patio and finished the cigar that I was smoking. Didn't even bother getting the chairs out or anything. We just sat on the back step.
That's nice. Like I said, did the other option where I brought up all the 6 dining chairs for the patio table and sat there and had some music playing after the walk. I did a 3-mile walk, and I don't know. So here's my thing, right? So now I don't know about you where you're walking, but I feel like I have gotten to the point now where I am. Now, granted, I didn't do a whole lot of walks on the trails that I've been posting pictures of, and we've been talking about the old man walks. However, I've been out there more or less by myself, other than like 4 or 5 people. Now people are coming back out. And I'm doing my thing where I'm listening to music. I turn it down a little bit. I don't have the headphones in, but I have the music playing in my pocket off that Bose speaker. Have it fairly quiet, but I'm smoking a cigar. Most people are very friendly. People are running, there's dogs and everything else like that. But there was the guy on his recumbent, bike with the flag out the back, doing this, and he's neons and all this stuff, and he's just like chucking away, and all of a sudden I kind of hear him from the background, and I turn and I say, "Oh, excuse me," and I kind of move over to the side. As he's passing me, he's just like and he's waving his hand in front of his face. He waves his hand in front of his face the entire time I can see him on the trail. And I'm just like, go fuck yourself, man. I've been out here. Exactly. Where have you been at your recumbent bike the whole winter? I've been out here, whatever. I missed 3 or 4 days in the last 3 or 4 months. And here you are saying, oh, this is my trail and you can't be smoking a cigar out here, is what he did in a passive aggressive way. And I didn't like it. Yep. This is what we're dealing with people coming back out for the first time in a long time. And I feel like people don't know how to handle other people. And I think it's going to get worse. I think I'm going to be on that trail and I'm going to be smoking a cigar and I'm going to be like, they're just like kind of getting a tan as I'm walking and all that stuff. And people are just going to be giving me dirty looks and I don't like it. I say, go back inside. You were there all year. Go back. This is my trail now.
Thankfully, with my walk, since it's in the neighborhood, there's not a whole lot of people that I come across. Like I might see someone else walking around the neighborhood once or twice a week, and that's pushing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So although it was weird the other day, I'm sitting there, walking, and all of a sudden there's a school kid coming. We're basically coming up to the same intersection, and it's like he sees me. I got this cigar in my hand, beard, Carhartts, head to toe, and he's just wearing jeans and a hoodie with a backpack. It's like, okay, let's try not to make this awkward. But he stopped to let me go ahead of him. I'm like, I don't know which way the wind's blowing, but if it's blowing backwards, you're going to catch all the smoke.
Are you finding people doing like the 6 foot distancing, even like bailing on the sidewalk?
So yeah, I have seen people that will see me coming and they will actually go into the street, or they will actually wait in someone's driveway for me to pass. Mm-hmm. There was one lady in particular. She was walking and she was wearing a mask while she was walking. Mm-hmm. And we both came to driveways, and I saw her step out of the way, and then I stepped out of the way into the other driveway. I was like, "No, you can go ahead. You can come on." She's like, "No." I was like, "No, you've probably been out here longer than I have." She's like, "Yeah, but I have COVID, so go ahead and pass me." I'm like,
Jesus, she came out and said it.
Yeah, she just threw that out there. I'm like, all right.
I was about to say, like, that's the Midwestern thing, right? That's the Ohio thing. We're like, no, after you, no, after you. And neither one of you guys actually move for like 20 minutes. You're like, no, but seriously, after you. Then she throws out the COVID bomb.
Yeah.
You're like,
oh, wait, so you want me to actually walk right
seriously,
by you?
now you go and walk by me. So where do I go? Yeah. Just cross the street. The street.
Typically, for the most part, if I see someone walking, unless they're with a kid, I don't give a shit. I'm not leaving the sidewalk. I'm just going to keep on walking. But just the way I am, if I'm smoking.
How are you with a kid?
No, like if I'm smoking a cigar during my walk, and I see that this family's walking and they have a kid, like I won't puff on my cigar. I'll kind of like keep it down at my side as I'm walking, and then I'll wait to puff on it again until I actually pass them.
Yeah, they already smell it. It's already done.
All right. But I have had quite a few people that will sit there and actually walk into the street to go around me. Not
because of the cigar. That's just what's happening. It's still.
I used to have that happen when I was doing door-to-door sales. I would have people.
You're a shitty door-to-door salesman.
No one likes you.
No one likes you.
They didn't know that.
You're walking in a neighborhood with a clipboard. No one wants to see you. You had a clipboard. Right?
No.
Tablet?
Eventually, yes. Yeah, I had a tablet. When I started out, we were doing all of our contracts on paper before they went electronic.
Without a clipboard?
I had a binder. I had a 3-ring binder.
So you're walking in a neighborhood with a 3-ring binder.
And a satchel.
Polo. Do you have a polo, like a colored polo, like, logoed?
Yeah, it was logo.
Yeah, no one liked you. No, I like if I had you come up to my door now with my ring, I'd see you and be like, no, fuck that guy. I'm not answering that door. No. I'd probably get on I'd probably set the alarm. You know what I mean? Like have it like siren. Get off my lawn.
I literally would have people that I would knock on the door and I could see them open the blinds in the window. And I would actually see them open the blinds. I would wave at them. And then I'd wait, like, no one's opening the door. We're going to go ahead and knock again. Like, I know we both know you're in there.
Did they ever answer the door? How many times did they actually answer the door?
I didn't keep track when they
did
that, but enough to where by the time I left that position, I was like 7th all time in my company in sales.
It's a low bar, though. I feel like it's a low bar.
It's door-to-door sales. Like, what did you expect?
Not much. Not much at all. I love the guys that come around and they're like trying to like look at your roof and stuff like that. I got a ladder in the truck. I was like, if you don't get up on my fucking house.
Oh, I know people that used to do that too. Yeah.
No. Well, we got a good deal going today. I'm like, oh, do you?
Yeah.
Because you're here.
It's all through your insurance company.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you sipping on tonight?
I'm actually drinking Ancient Age 10.
It's the one you just picked up, right?
Well, so I had a partial bottle of it, and then I happened to pick up another bottle over the weekend. So I was like, yeah, I guess I can go ahead and start drinking some more of this. It's funny. I picked Saturday. I picked up 3 bottles from the liquor store. Only one of them I actually went there to get, but I ended up picking up 3 different bottles.
Yeah.
I when I got there, I had no intention on waiting in any type of line. But when I saw how many people were actually in line, I was like, maybe there's something good. Eagle Rare was the first thing to go, and then there was a bunch of Weller. And then by the time I got up there, it was Special Reserve, 107, and then Ancient Age. And I was like, oh, Ancient Age. That's $25 bottle, and it's a half gallon. Like, yes, I will take that one instead. And the lady's like, oh, you don't want the Weller? I'm like, nope. And then other people were picking the Crown Royal Peach.
Those Crown Royals are so popular. The peach, the apple, all that stuff.
The peach and the salted caramel.
Salted caramel, that's the other one, yeah.
Yeah, like people go nuts. I mean, I've gone to liquor stores where they've literally had signs at the checkout that said like, no Crown Royal Peach. Like, quit asking. We don't have it. Yeah. But literally, so I bought the Ancient Age, and then I went and I was like, all right, I'm going to shop around. Went and picked up the Bua Irish whiskey that I specifically went there for. And then I decided, you know what? It's a new liquor store. I'm going to look at some of the bourbon section. And I saw a bottle of Peerless. And up until recently, Peerless was not available in Ohio.
It's very good, though.
And so I knew Brian at the Tinder Box had gotten a bottle of Peerless from one of the guys that had gone down to Kentucky.
Yeah.
And the bourbon was like a $65 bottle. And the rye was on the shelf. And I was like, I don't know that I want to pay that much.
No, that's not what you said. That's not what you said.
I don't know that I want to deal
Why didn't you want to pay that much?
Because I didn't want to deal with the argument when I got home, potentially.
All right, now it's out. Now it's out in the open. And I feel like it's important. You have to actually, talk about your feelings.
Because I was looking at a couple other bottles that were in that $30 to $40 range. Because you know me, I'm like I sit there and I find deals of bottles. You know, I find good taste in whiskey that's under $30 or under $40.
True.
But because Peerless is so new to Ohio, I didn't know when I might be able to get it again. So I went ahead and pulled the trigger on a $90 bottle.
Is Jess listening?
She might be. She's in the bedroom probably playing on her phone right now.
Yeah. Have you had that argument? Have you had that talk?
When I got home last night, it wasn't really an argument. I was like, hey, I want to show you what I got. And she's like, yeah, I was wondering why.
She got an alert.
She's like, I went to the grocery store and I was like, wait a minute, we had over this much money. What the hell did he buy at Giant Eagle? But she waited until I got home at least. That way she wasn't texting or calling me throughout the day when I was working.
That's because she's a lovely lady. Dave Merrick. Well, go ahead.
But then I was like, look, I just got my bonus from work. It hit yesterday. So it's like.
What'd she say to that? She's
like, well, yeah, but I'd already put that in the car fund. I'm like.
Yeah, it's already allocated, my friend. It's already allocated. It wasn't about Peerless.
And then she goes, all of our bills come out before the 10th. I wish you would have waited until after the 10th. I'm like, I don't know if this would have been available after the 10th.
I feel like your logic there is not as important as hers.
My logic is undeniable.
To you. Dave says, what's your fave under 30 bottle?
Oh, see, with that, it depends on if it's something that's readily available, because that is one of those because like some people will sit there and go towards Buffalo Trace or something like that, but like you can't really find Buffalo Trace all that often. I would say one of my favorites under 30.
Under 30.
Old Forester. Just regular Old Forester 86 proof is going to be one of them.
Yeah.
And that's under a $20 bottle. if
I'm going to go 35. Bump it up to 35.
Well, you're probably going to say Eagle Rare.
Well, that's also in the same ballpark as Buffalo Trace as far as not being readily available. But I'm saying like Four Roses Small Batch is my go-to, or Russell's Reserve.
Russell, yeah.
So both of those are that, like, you have to just bump it up in Ohio just over $30.
But I'll tell you what,
that's where I was saying that.
At $30, you got the Old Overholt bottled in bond rye.
Yeah, I saw that the other day at the store too.
Yeah, and then they also have 114 proof rye.
Yeah.
I've had those. Those are actually fantastic, and those are $29.99. The bottled in bond, $29, and it's actually a 1 liter bottle.
That's dangerous.
Yeah, but
Cooper's Craft is the other one. Cooper's Craft.
The 100 proof.
Craft. Either one. They're both, I think, decent for the price. But yeah, exactly. The 100 proof is $29.99 if I'm not mistaken.
Yep. And then the regular, the 80 proof is around 23, 24. Mm-hmm. The IW Harper is about a $26 bottle. That's a pretty good one.
That was a rough podcast night.
But it wasn't because the IW Harper, is because of the quantity.
Both. I'd say both. That was a whiskey that just went down super smooth. It was super light, and we were hydrating ourselves, and then we were hammered. I think that's when that one chair lost its arm, kind of.
Well, the regular IW Harper is a lot cheaper than, what is it, the 15-year IW Harper? That's around like an $85 bottle.
That's right.
Like that.
That's right.
Which there's been a couple times I've seen it and I've thought about picking it up, but it's like, not today. Because like I'm one of those that small batch is good for 30. Yeah. Because I'm one of those that sometimes I'll sit there and go, okay, here's this bottle. You know, let's say Antique 107. That's a $50 bottle in the state of Ohio.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, for $50, I can get this bottle, or I can get, say, an Old Overholt and an Old Forester. Like, I can get 2 of these, or I can, get a couple bottles for that same price. Like, sometimes when I'm buying whiskey, I'll look at the quantity a little bit more than, what the bottle is.
So Ian out there says, that's what I was trying to find out what he was saying. You know what you can't have really, and then he followed up with good, fast, and cheap. Can't get all 3 of those in almost no products. I'd say you can get good enough and fast enough and cheap enough, and you can get those. If you add enough to all those, you might get something. Like Buffalo Trace is good. It's cheap. It can go down quickly, so fast. I don't know.
Yeah.
That Old Overholt was good.
Which one did you have?
The one you brought, I thought, right?
We haven't had it on the podcast.
Not on the podcast. I thought you brought it to the garage.
Oh, I may have.
Yeah, you gave it before. This is another one. So this one's the Dead Soul. Well, there is a little bit of something in there. But yeah, Old Tub by Jim Beam. Didn't have much left. That was my first pour.
I've got another bottle of that.
Yeah.
Yep. Not bad. You and I talked about it, and we're, I can save that other bottle I have for a podcast. We talked about possibly doing that on a upcoming episode.
Yeah.
So don't want to get too much into reviews on that one. Definitely different though. It's interesting. What are some of your go-to $30 and under?
I already told you. Yeah, it was the same. I can't go under 30 because there's not a whole lot. I like Cooper's Craft under 30, Old Forester as well. But you have to get to the 30 to 35. I feel like in Ohio that you can actually get some solid daily drinkers, if you will, or stuff that you don't mind killing, and they'll be on the shelf when you get back to the store. And that was the Russells. That's the Four Roses small batch. You go a couple bucks now, you're pushing 40, but you have the Four Roses single barrel. But Keep it under 40. I think now is under 30, you have some steals, but under 40 is really where, at least in Ohio, that is where you're kind of finding your bargain. Sadly, 40 or under, but 40 or under is where you're going to get your bargain bottles that are good. So to Ian's point, you can't get too cheap, too fast, too whatever, too good. You have to maybe 30 is a low bar at this point. Even like a bottle of like Jameson or a bottle of some basic drinkers, like that's all you can get under 30 for a fifth. And those are 30 now.
I'll tell you what though, like Heaven Hill, in Ohio, the white label Heaven Hill, that's under $20 a bottle. In fact, I think you can get a half gallon of that for $31. JTS Brown, that in Ohio, a 1.75 of that is $19.
Yeah.
And then Evan Williams Bottled and Bond, that's a sub $20 bottle. And I think all three of those are under $30, and they're actually good daily drinks.
Yeah.
Some of them are under 20, but definitely under $30, and they are solid daily drinkers, I think.
Yeah. Ian says, he's glad that he reached a stage that he only looks at the price as he's carried to the counter. Well, yeah, we all want to get there.
Well, and then also that other one I found a few weeks ago, I happen to have sitting right next to me, the Ezra Brooks 99.
Yeah.
So that's a $25 bottle in the state of Ohio, and I think the problem with me was the first sip I had, I just washed out a glass. So maybe something with the water that may have still been left in the glass, because at first when I tasted it, all I could taste was spice. But then a couple days later, when I went back to it, it was nowhere near the amount of spice. And then we
had a pour at the shop after hours, and it was like I thought it was actually pretty good.
Yeah, and there were a couple other people at the shop, and I was like, "How much you guys think this bottle is?" And they're like, $40, $50, $60. And Steve's like, knowing Nate, it was probably under $30.
I feel like I called it out appropriately.
Yes. Because you know me, I like to find good whiskeys that are still, very reasonably priced. And, we've talked a lot on the podcast about newer whiskeys always, kind of be in that 50 or up range. It's still, it's nice to find a good daily drinker that's not only under 40, but even under 30.
Yeah.
I think a lot of those get overlooked because a lot of times they're thinking, Jack, Jim, Bullet, Makers. I remember the first cigar shop I worked at, there was a guy who asked me my opinion on Bullet. I gave him my opinion. And then there was another guy there, and he's like, you know what? You ought to spend $1 or $2 more and get Maker's Mark instead of Bullet.
Yeah.
The guy went and bought Bullet and then came back into the shop a couple days later. And he's like, yeah, I don't like it. You want the rest of the bottle? And it's just so happened that other customer was there. And he's like, look, Dave, I know two things: where to eat and what to drink. You asked me my opinion. I gave you my opinion. You went against what I said. Don't ever ask me for advice again.
It's very aggressive. It's very aggressive.
I mean, he asked for his opinion. The guy went against his opinion. So he's like, all right, if we're not going to take what I say, like, fine, don't ask.
I feel like it's a hardcore stance that you need to have when people ask for your opinion on anything. But I feel like people will stop asking for your opinion after that. So that's good and bad.
I think it can depend on the situation.
Yeah.
Some things are trivial. Some things are a little bit more serious. If you're asking,
took that stance on trivial stuff, in my opinion.
They can. Whiskey might be one of those that might be trivial.
I don't like Bullet, but I was at a bar earlier this evening, and I was like, "Do you have any like beer specials?" And he's like, "No, I have a $5 Bullet pour." I'm like, "All right. I'm not a big fan of Bullet, but all right, I'll take one."
So I had.
It was a good pour too. It was a good pour.
There was one year this is going back when I was still working at Battelle, and Jess was working at the Quarter Horse Congress, and I decided I was going to walk all the way from Battelle to the Quarter Horse Congress, which was a few miles. And on my way, as I'm walking up High Street through campus, there's a Kroger liquor store. I walked in there and I bought a bottle of Bullet. And then when I got to the Court Horse Congress, I found my car parked and there was a styrofoam cup in the car. I took the lid off, just started pouring that Bullet into the styrofoam cup. And then I'm walking around the fairgrounds.
I was going to say, before you got in your car, that's good.
No, I was walking around the fairgrounds. I wasn't driving, but I was walking around the fairgrounds with this styrofoam cup full of bourbon. And that's like the one time a year at the fairgrounds you can sit there and walk around with a beer or liquor and no one cares. No one gives a shit.
This is where we're at as a society now, in general. You can walk down the street, probably in most places, with a solo cup, and no one's going to say shit to you anymore. After the shit we went through in 2020, I'm telling you that no one's going to be, what do you have in the glass? No. You can be smoking weed on the streets in most cities, and they're going to be like, oh, smoking weed, are you? Yes, officer. Have a good day. That's just what's going to happen anymore. Like, no one fucking cares anymore. I do like this comment with Ian. And Ian, thank you for tuning in on Sunday night this late. He says, well, generally speaking, my opinion can't be wrong. It could be wrong for you, but I'm always spot on. You know, I to that point, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Oh, geez. This
is what I believe. I don't know what you believe, but this is what I believe. So
go fuck yourself is what you say after that.
There you go.
That's what he missed.
Yeah. So what you do during the rest of your Saturday? It's one of your 2 days off. Or
That's
Sunday.
Right.
Sunday.
It's Sunday. All right. Yeah.
Because I know you said you went out to downtown. You got a walk in this morning. Like,
yeah. I mean, it's you can't. Not that I'm looking forward to. You can't really I'm not going to mow the lawn yet, right? So it's like I missed the mow in the back lawn a little bit, before the snow came. Shit was going on. I just didn't hit that, and so it needs mowed, but I can't do that. So yeah, went to the gym, did a 3-mile walk, and now it's 12:30. And I'm just like, okay, well, all right. So loaded the dishwasher, got laundry I could fold, but I don't like doing that. And so I sat on the back patio. I brought up the chairs, did did that kind of thing, wiped down a couple things, and I'm like, all right, so let's go hang out, I guess. I don't know.
There you go.
And then I get a text from you, and you're like, hey, we're doing the Sunday BS. I'm like, oh shit.
I'm sorry.
That's just the way it goes, like last night after. So I left you and Todd at the shop, and I went next door. I'm like, I'm gonna go have a pint. Oh shit! It was 12. Before I left there. It's just how it happens.
I was home long before that.
Yeah.
No, it's funny. We got up this morning.
Did it safely. It's all good. I'll throw that banner up there. Please drink responsibly. All right.
We got up this morning and my wife had hit the button to start heating the oven. And right as she starts heating the oven up for breakfast, I get a text message from my mom. It's like, hey, you want to meet for lunch? And I was like, oh, yeah, because I'd planned on going over to my mom's and picking stuff out of the storage unit because my mom just bought a house in North Carolina, so she's getting ready to move.
Right.
And so I immediately texted her back. I'm like, yeah, where do you want to meet at? And just never heard anything. And then I even called her. She didn't pick up. And I'm like, what the heck? So Jess and I are just sitting on the couch getting hungry.
Any more that scares you, right?
Well, it turns out she was actually sitting in church when she had texted us. It was between services, but she didn't text me back. I'm like, you do realize I could have eaten breakfast by now.
Yeah, but I don't feel like you can't text in front of Jesus, though, right? I mean,
you can't. Where's the scriptures say that?
Well,
I know.
I think it's in Matthew.
No, it's the book of Second Opinions.
I'm just, if you're that person texting in church, and granted, we've talked about it a little bit. I don't go to church anymore. There wasn't a whole lot of texting when I went to church. I feel like if you're texting in church, it better that pastor or a reverend or a preacher should be like looking down from the pulpit and being like, I hope you're texting Jesus about your sins. Like they should call you out in church. You can't do that. Excuse yourself. It's like taking a phone call.
Yeah, well, so
I'm with your mom on this, that she did not text you back, because I think if she did, she may not be completely dialed into the service at that point.
Well, I wish she would have let us know, like, hey, do you want to meet for lunch at this time?
After church, I'm about to go into the service. Yeah, I get it.
Exactly, because had she said that, my wife still would have made breakfast, and she was going to make smoked cheddar grits for breakfast. So I missed out on that. But yeah, so we met for lunch, and then yes, and then went and cleared out some stuff from the storage unit. I still had an original PS1 in the storage unit.
Wow. You have any games?
Nope. No games for it, but I had a PlayStation.
Just an old console with no games. That's perfect. Yeah, cool.
I had all the wires.
Paperweight at this point.
Had all the wires and controllers.
More paperweights.
Yeah, and then also had I remember when Xbox came out, I had the surround sound system that was made for the Xbox, but I never got the damn thing to work, so it's still just sitting in there. And had some of my old paintball gear in there.
But you have the Xbox and the surround sound, or just the surround sound for the Xbox and a PlayStation 1?
So all that was in there was a PlayStation 1 and the surround sound system.
That's not going to work, I feel like.
No, I used to have an Xbox back in the day. But no, and then I found some old memorabilia and stuff of mine in there. Some collectibles that I used to have.
Yeah.
So now those are sitting in my basement.
So you move this stuff from the storage unit basically to your basement to sit there longer.
Yeah.
Am I on track here?
Yeah. And it's one of those things. I had said this to Jess when we left. You never realize what memories you have until you see something that triggers them.
I get that. But it's now sitting in your basement.
It is, but I mean, my wife and I
PlayStation 1. Did you take the PlayStation 1?
I did not.
Where's that at now?
It's still in the storage unit, and my mom will either donate it or throw it away.
Yeah, probably throw it away.
Probably.
Yeah.
But I had a game ball from my senior year of high school was in there.
Yeah.
So I brought that back, and then there was some of the stuff that my mother had in her cedar chest, like some old photos that we all thought were lost that she gave to me. And I still have to go through this stuff and figure out what I'm going to keep and what I should just toss out. There's probably no reason for me to keep my grade cards from my sophomore year of high school.
What was that? Your grade cards?
Yeah. Probably don't need those.
You definitely don't need those. You're a grown man.
Yes. Yeah, I don't need those.
Take a picture on your iPhone so you can show your kids maybe someday. But no, you don't need those.
Yeah.
In fact, I'll challenge you. Why would you need those?
I wouldn't. It's literally one of those things that you look at and it's like, oh, I remember this. I remember that class. I remember that teacher. Yeah, that was cool. All right, now we can pitch it. You look at it just enough to remember it, and you're like, all right, that's enough of that.
Yeah. No, get rid of it. Get that shit out of there.
I'll probably still hang on to the pictures that my mom took before senior prom.
Nah, that's cute. That's cute. I have a hard time getting rid of pictures, unless they're really bad memories. But I same way. Like I actually went down in the basement. I had pictures from frame pictures that someone did. Like they're not anything fancy, but it was actually from my wedding day. It was with a bunch of my groomsmen, and it was I forgot about them, and it's like they're sitting in a box, and it's like, oh, they'll sit in a box. Like I'm not gonna hang them. You know what I mean? Like it's not like that kind of memory, but it's like, I just kind of set them here. That's part of my life. Is good dudes. You know, I'm still friends with most of them, and I don't want to get rid of them, but at the same time, your grade card, get rid of it. In fact, give that to your mom if she wants to keep it, because other than that, it doesn't mean anything for you.
Well, and like
you didn't keep them, she did.
Yeah, when we were going through the box, like literally, she was just putting stuff into the box for me to take, and I was just looking over stuff, and I'm sitting there, I'm looking at papers that I wrote in high school and in college. There was one paper that I wrote in middle school. It was a 1-page paper that my mom found, read it, and actually started crying.
What was it about? Let's hear this. You have it?
I have it down in the basement. I actually pulled it out of the box.
Give me a summary.
Well, so it's addressed to my future wife.
How old are you?
I was in middle school when I wrote that. So it's like if I was writing a letter to her, like.
No, I get it. No, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. Yeah. No.
So, but my mom, I haven't read it yet, but my mom.
Have you read it to Jess?
I have not. I haven't read it yet. Jess hasn't seen it. But when my mom told me she found it, she's like, everything you wrote in that has come true.
Oh, God.
So.
Congratulations, but it also makes me sick a little bit. I don't know how to take that. Good for you. It looks good on you.
Yeah. I also found a plaque from when the local VFW awarded me as athlete of the year, my senior year, for both athletics and academics.
Yeah.
So I have that downstairs. I'm not going to hang that on the wall or anything, but it's a little cool to have.
It is cool to have. Now you have more shit in your basement. That's it.
True. Yeah, very true.
But I get it. I get it completely. I have shit in my basement. Moved into the house. Moved it from the previous house. I think it was from the previous house, and it's just like there. And I need to go through it. I need to donate the clothes. I need to do all that stuff, and I just haven't. But I feel like that's the way it goes, right? You like, I don't know. You move, like for me, it's you move into the house. You're like, all right, I'll get to this and all this stuff. I really don't need it. And so there's people that are wired a certain way. They're like, I need to donate it. I need to go through it. I need all. I'm different. It's there now, and it's a part of the house. It's part of my life now. Still, I don't need it. I also don't need to go through it. It's a part of us now. This is where we're at. It's
like, when do you let go?
It's not even letting. I don't even remember what's down there. Like, they have a whole box of like clothes and bags of clothes. I don't know what's down there. It's probably stuff I would actually wear, but I don't know about it. There's no justification here. I have no reason behind this. All I know is that it's down there, and I don't know what's down there. I have an idea. I also know that it's not hurting anyone. So,
well, I know when I was going through that storage unit, some of the boxes or some of the bags that I went through, I saw some things that when I was younger and actually had those things, they held a lot of value to me. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of memories attached to those. But then I also sat there and was like, it's not going to do anything for me now. So there's no point in keeping it. Like, just throw it out.
Here's the thing. So my brother's different than me. And so, like, when my mom asked me, like, hey, do you want this? Like, we got these, like, toys and shit like that. Now, luckily, all that shit has come full circle. So my niece and nephew are into the same stuff that my brother and I were in. You know, Star Wars. There was, like, the Ninja Turtles. There was Transformers for a while. What else?
Because they keep remaking all those movies.
GoBots never really made it back. They didn't really make it back then. We had GoBots, but they didn't, whatever. But like, it was one of those things, like Thundercats kind of had a little try there,
Yeah.
But my mom asked me, like, hey, do you want any of this stuff? I was like, no, but my brother, like Bob, I was like, but Bob does, like, he's clearly going to want it. And it was before he even had kids. He just didn't want to throw anything away because he's like, oh, it might be worth something someday. I don't think he's wrong. I think I missed the boat there because I was like, I gave full full blow, like, they're all for the kids and for my brother and all that stuff and whatever. They've played with some of it, and now I just have shit in my basement that's not worth anything.
So are you one of those that you have a hard time letting some of those old things go, or you're like, nope, gone, throw it away?
It's more laziness. I got to be honest. It's more laziness. I have no problem getting rid of things, but then there's times where it's like I said about the clothes and stuff, and the stuff I moved over the house. I'm like, it's not really hurting anyone. So,
well, I know my wife
I have room for it.
My wife has a terrible time at letting things go.
Hoarder.
Not necessarily a hoarder. It's not like we fill the house with stuff. It's just like sometimes she'll get something and she just doesn't want to let it go.
Yeah.
Like a couple months ago, I started going through like the freezer and the pantry shelf that we had, and I'm sitting there going, "Oh my gosh, this is from 2 apartments ago. Why this made the move with us? Why?"
Yeah.
So I just start throwing out shit. I throw it out, and she's like, "Oh, okay, that's fine." Like, she doesn't care that I threw it out. She just has a hard time actually taking the action to throw it out.
Yeah. So that was the big thing moving into the house. I will say this. There was a time moving in the house, and I've had people in my life that literally, when they tell me they're going to throw something out, I'm upset about it. When it's just gone, it's kind of a dick move, but at the same time, I don't know anything better. So like, I could have someone actually walk through the house today, and they could tell that this was like any of the stuff in my basement right now, in the bags or boxes, whatever. They could literally just walk out with it, and there's a random chance that I might be like, "Hey, I wonder where this is," but there's a 99% chance that it's just like, it's gone. It's gone now. Like I didn't think about it. I didn't know. Like I need someone to basically just take it away from me, because I just don't care. I didn't know it was there, but there's always that opportunity that they're going to take the wrong thing. If they don't know. Like I was talking to someone. I have like the Jordan 1s. They weren't called Jordan 1s. They were just called like the original Jordans.
You were talking to them when Brian was on the podcast.
Yeah. So I have the black and red ones that have one scuff on it, and they're in a box. But that would be something that someone would walk in and be like, these are just old shoes that no one wears anymore. Like, but if they were actually, I don't know, it's the word hip or whatever, they'd probably be like, oh, these are probably worth something, or these are probably new, and they're 90. It's probably like 94, 95. So these are old shoes. And they weren't even the originals. This is when he came back from retirement. So, yeah, exactly.
Came back from retirement like 95, 96.
Yeah. So I got the white and red ones and got oil all over them from my Yamaha RD350 that leaked oil, and I had to change spark plugs all the time.
I was going to say, you always fouled the plugs on.
I didn't. It did.
Well, okay.
I bought it for $200. I mean, come on.
Yeah, you got your money.
You have a motorcycle that you can ride for $200 after your buddy fixes it. And you have to buy spark plugs, buy the pack. Yeah, you're fine. You're fine. I'd do it today.
You got your money's worth out of it.
Iron Pony got my money's worth out of it.
Okay.
But
wherever you were buying parts from, they won.
They did win.
You may have spent more on spark plugs and stuff than you did on that motorcycle.
100%. Absolutely, I did. Yeah. No, that's not in question. I literally had to take 2 spark plugs with me every time I rode the bike, with a socket and the socket ratchet or whatever. I had to take that with me in my hoodie. And if I pulled up to a stop sign too long, I had to I actually had to pull over, change one of the spark plugs, and then start heading back home because the other one was going to go. You don't get too far out with one. Yeah. It wasn't reliable is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But there's always that first story on your first car or your first vehicle, whatever it might be, that there's always that thing. Like my first car that I bought was an 86 Fleetwood. And when I sold it, I had to tell the people that came over to buy it. So in the morning, you have to, and this fuel injection, I don't know why, but it's the last car I ever named. And her name is Nora. You had to pump it 3 times, the gas, before you started it, and it would start fine. If you didn't do that, it wouldn't start. And also when you're turning it off, sometimes it would what we call diesel. So you turn the ignition off and it would just go. So you just turn it back on, you put it in drive, then you turn it off, then you put it in park, and you're fine. These are the things with your first vehicles when you buy them. There are. She was a good car. She was a good car. But they bought the car. But you have to give them that disclaimer. It's the same thing with the bike. You have to. There's certain things when you can't afford something good, you buy it for style, or whatever stupid reason you buy it.
See, my wife still has her first car.
Yeah, and it's sitting there, not running.
It's working on that.
All right.
Been working on that for a little while, but yeah, I mean,
I love that Ryan Jones tunes in this late in this Sunday. Steve Crane, did you shave again? I trimmed out the beard. Yeah.
But
thank you for noticing.
It's funny. My wife's been looking at used cars. We've been saving up for to replace a vehicle.
Yeah,
and she has her mind set on a particular type of vehicle, and I'm like, why that one? Well, because I like the look of it. I'm like,
yeah,
okay, I don't care. I don't care what it looks like as long as the car is functional and is well maintained and is going to be reliable. That's all I care about. She's like, well, I saw this one, it was in good condition. It was low mileage. The price was right, but it was brown. And I was like, so? She's like, I don't want to drive a brown car. I'm like, so? Who cares? Why do you care about the opinion of someone at a stoplight next to you? I don't give a shit what color the car is. I don't care who makes the car as long as the car is reliable. I don't care. But she's got her mindset on just one particular brand of vehicles where I'm like, I don't care. I'll drive anything. My first car was a 94 Nissan Sentra, and
gorgeous car.
Yeah, had the most annoying thing.
What color?
Ruby Pearl, which is another way of saying burgundy.
I was thinking like a metal flake.
Well, a little shiny.
Nice.
But no, my stepdad, to him, the most annoying thing about that car was the automatic seatbelt, the automatic shoulder restraint.
Terrible idea.
Well, with him, the reason that was the most annoying feature was because he always would wear a suit and tie, and so seatbelts would always wrinkle his tie.
Yeah.
So, even when he had his own cars, he would take the seatbelt, grab it with his hand, and put it onto the shifter when he drove.
Yeah, I got you.
So that way the seatbelt was actually never touching his torso because he didn't want to wrinkle his shirt and tie.
All right. So Ian says, I got to say, a bass boat on wheels. I got to say something here on that one.
The Fleetwood? Oh, yeah.
No, not so that's a boat, right? I had a 79 Lincoln before that. It was my dad's car, and that's why I got into these big cars or whatever. No, my current car, the Cadillac, and we gotta cut this off shortly here after this. But no, my car now, it's a Cadillac ATS 2013. It's now 8 years old or whatever. But I've had people actually dent it and all that stuff. So I take it into the body shop in Westerville that literally the dealer doesn't even want to deal with the paint job on it because it has that metal flake. They don't do it anymore. And it was called the Bass Boat at the paint that they had to get. There was my car and another Cadillac. I don't know why GM actually did this, but the metal flake was so thick, like big flakes, it clogged their paint gun.
Yeah.
They had to buy a different paint gun at this reputable paint body shop that actually a friend of mine, I referred to them. They're like, yeah, so Steve, he has a Cadillac ATS. He's been in before. He's like, oh, the bass boat. And they called my car the bass boat because it had that metal flake. No, like the metal flake on the bass boat.
Because the metal flake. Yeah, my
not
dad
the boat
used to have a
part,
bass
but it was the bass boat because the paint they put on these bass boats and all that stuff. I mean, I've had my share of boats, but
my dad used to have a bass boat. Yeah, that it sparkles even at night.
Super.
Yeah.
Ian says won't talk about the paint on my Harley. Same thing. Like that shit won't go through most paint guns that are just doing the normal spray, even the normal metallic spray. That 79 Lincoln that my dad bought, it was a baby blue with metallic navy blue flake.
Wow,
it was a beautiful car.
Yeah,
that had rust on it when I was driving it, but it was beautiful originally. It had baby blue velour interior. I think they should bring back velour interior because it's comfortable and it's stylish.
Is it?
I think so.
So you've got an 8-year-old car with what, 60,000 miles on it?
60. Yeah. Yep. Yep.
I'm getting ready to hit 260,000 miles on my car.
How many?
260,000.
What year is it?
07.
07. I'm not going to catch you.
Mm-mm.
Not going to catch you.
No, you won't.
So we're getting to the point where, we're trying to keep these Sunday sessions a little under because, Nate and I can talk for hours on end. And I love having like Ryan Jones and Ian out there. And I absolutely love this. We've got DeSalin coming on this week on the podcast. And he's a friend of the community. He's a friend of the shop. He is a successful realtor. So I don't know where the conversation is going to go. I got to frame the topic and everything like that. But I'm glad we did this Sunday BS session. Nate texted me and was like, "Hey, we doing this?" And I was like, "Oh shit."
It's like an accountability thing, right?
I'm just it's just a different place right now for me that, Sundays for me, sometimes I'm ready to go early. Like next Sunday, we have the event going on. It's not really an event. So we have that patio party at Fido right next door to the shop. If you guys are in the area, great. We got 4 vendors. I got Josh Bentley from Altadis, who's a sponsor. Who's on the podcast this last week. Rob Wilson from Rocky Patel. I got Lee Whitaker from Oliva and Tim Kime from Perdomo. So if you guys are local, if you guys are listening to this in the Columbus area, it's buy 4, get 1 within the brand. And
I might show up just for the hell of that, just to meet the guy.
You should. So they're all going to be out there. I'll be floating back and forth between the shop and Fido, but they're also going to be they did an Elijah Craig barrel pick for those of you whiskey drinkers out there. It's Elijah Craig barrel pick for Fido, and it doesn't. If you like Elijah Craig, great. I do, but this does not taste like an Elijah Craig normal bottle.
I think I had the last Elijah Craig that they did the barrel pick of.
This is different. A lot of caramel on this one. I think it's a great one. You can actually buy a bottle and keep it at Fido Irish Pub and Restaurant at Easton in Columbus, Ohio for $125. And then
that's
such
a cool idea.
It is. But they're doing also a 2-ounce pour for the price of the 1-ounce pour. They're doing Budweiser buckets, five buds for 12, and they're also bringing in lamb lollipops for whatever the fair price is. But so they're doing all that. So we're hoping. I mean, we're just trying to push and get this thing going, man. I'm ready for the spring to come, and I'm with everyone else. I look back at where we're at this day last year, and I was at the Arnold charity event last year at this time, and we knew stuff was going on, but not what was going to happen.
Well, and then a year ago, the podcast that we had with Pat Byrne and Martin Kennedy, that was when they come out with Bua. You recently just posted that. Like that was, like the last episode before things really started changing.
Yeah.
And I sat there and was like, man, I don't know that I've had Bua since. I'm going to go out and get a bottle. And then I ended up spending.
I'm glad you did. I'm glad you did.
Spend $160 on booze.
That's between you and Jess. That's not between us. I mean, that's fine. I mean, I'm all for you spending that.
I still blame you.
Yeah, story of my life. Story 2020. Story of my life. Yeah, I know.
I don't blame you at
Yes,
all,
Mike.
trust. No, she doesn't. She knows that's fully me.
All right. Well, guys, we're just checking in on everyone. I'm glad that everyone's doing well. Hopefully, we had some good participation from the crowd. Glad we did this. Ian says, you're going to regret saying some of that when I show up on a Wednesday. Ian, I need to set up the guest bed. I need to get a box spring for the mattress. But
no, he can sleep on the floor. He's slept in worse places.
Well, yeah, the couch is amazing, honestly. But other than that, we got a mattress at least on the floor. So, this is where we're at. This is where we're at, 2021. But Ian, you're always welcome. Ryan, you're always welcome. Anyone listening out there, the house is always open to friends. You guys can always crash here. You can always hang out in the garage, stay in a hotel, whatever you want to do. But we appreciate the community. We appreciate all you guys tuning in. I know the Sunday BS session is a little different. This is just something that maybe might catch on, but I just appreciate all the support.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Nate, happy Whiskey Wednesday on a Sunday.
Thirsty Sunday, steak and wine Sunday.
Sunday fun day.
Sunday fun day. Right. What's
Sunday fun day?
There you go. Sunny Sunday. Yeah. There you go.
I think I'm gonna grill out some steaks tomorrow. I'm gonna post them on the page, and I think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna move the grill out back and complete that. Take some pictures, and if you guys are doing the same on a Monday, if you're working from home, or if you have a Monday evening grill out, if you're in the area that it's a little bit nice out there, then I say we all grill out steaks tomorrow. You and Jess included, Nate.
I think we're having salmon tomorrow.
All right, that sounds good too, but. All right, guys. Cheers. Enjoy. Cheers. We'll see you on Wednesday.